Welcome to Worth Asking, a podcast questioning gender inequality in politics through interviews with politicians across South Asia. In these interviews, we ask leaders about their political journeys, the challenges they face, how they overcome them and emerge as leaders, and stories of allyship and support. Today, we have Miss Jothimani, who is a member of parliament representing Karur in Tamil Nadu, India. She has been involved with the Indian National Congress Party for the past 2 decades. She entered politics at the age of 22 and has served in the local governance for a decade before moving to state and national politics. She has also held several party positions, ranging from Indian Youth Congress General Secretary to Council Member of the Tamil Nadu Congress Committee. So without further ado, let's get started with the questions that are worth asking. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Ma'am, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and upbringing as a child?
See, I am coming from a completely rural background, brought up by a single mother who strongly believe in Gandhian principles and value system, and very courageous woman. I'm talking about you said it's 2 decades. It's almost, I'm going to complete 3 decades. So though she's a woman raised from a village, very normal agriculture family background, not studied much. Despite that, she's a very progressive woman, very friendly mother who strongly believe in woman equality. So as a child, I never been told in the house, I should do this, I should not do this just because I'm a girl child. I never been realized and I never been told you're a girl, so I should behave in certain way. I used to behave with any other boy in my village, starting from climbing trees and beat them up. So my mother only tell it's a violence, but never she told me that actually you are a girl, you should never end up in beating a boy. Also, I remember as a young child, respect my privacy a lot. My grandfather used to write a letter to both my mother and me. So in that time, the inland letter he used to write. In the to address, my name is written. My mother never opened the letter till I came. When I come from school, she will give me the letter. Yeah, grandfather has written it to you. So at a ninth class, not even ninth class, it's a 7th class old child studying in a government school, living in a very remote village. Such a liberty is unthinkable of that point of time from a family. So that way, I'm really grateful to my mother. Because of her only, what I am now.
So, ma'am, what or who exactly inspired you to join politics? And you entered at the age of 22, which is often considered early for politics. So, who or what were your influences?
See, obviously, my inspiration to politics, service, everything is Mahatma Gandhi. So my my grandfather was a Gandhian. So as a child, I used to hear a lot about Gandhi. My family was my mother's side, they were a Congress family. My dad was Periyarist, DK, he was an atheist. So I mostly brought up by my mother and my grandfather. So I have a very strong influence of Gandhi in the principle at the very early age. When I started going to school, college, when I started going to library and read books, obviously Gandhi was the most inspiring figure in my entire career and life. After that, it's maybe probably the every woman of that point of time, Indira Gandhi. To think about a practical politics, she's the biggest inspiration.
Right, ma'am. So, in one of the earlier interviews that you gave to the media, you had said, and I would want to quote, that people think reservation in panchayats is a magic bullet that opens doors automatically for women. The truth is that after Panchayat, every single door is closed for women. Party, hierarchy, state assembly, parliament. So, can you tell us a little bit more about your experiences of transitioning from the village panchayat to the state level and upwards? Were there any challenges that you faced while you were transitioning? And how did you overcome these challenges if there were any?
Full of challenges only. A woman in politics, that too very honest, upright, outspoken, then you will face more and more challenges. But one good, I can say, lucky thing is I happened to meet my leader Rahul Gandhi. When I was in Youth Congress, I met him in a Youth Congress camp. We exchanged very brief ideas. Then after that, I got a chance to work under him as a in Youth Congress. Earlier, there is a program called Amatmika Sipai, which was run by the Youth Congress that point of time. So that's made a hell lot of difference in my life, in my political career. He is someone who completely understands somebody's background, value system, and the ideas someone has. And also, he does not have a gender bias, luckily. It's very rare in politics, especially from a male leader. Someone actually, people will always, women being seen through the lens of gender. There is always a glass ceiling. You ask about the challenges. Every step is a challenge for women in politics, women in public life, women in public space even. So that way, actually, see, generally, you are judged by your gender. That's a very default option in any political party, any public space, any political system, irrespective of a political party. Women immediately, as a default option, judged by their gender, not on their talent, not on their merit, not on their knowledge, not on their courage, not on their work, hard work they are put in over years. In such a situations, when you want to move from a panchayat itself, it's not an easy thing. I always used to tell many of my friends and colleagues, even in the media, that without Rajiv Gandhi's reservation for women in Panchayat Raj, someone like me from completely has nothing to do with politics. I have all the negative things to get into politics. I don't have anybody from my family into politics. We are not from a very rich family. We don't have any political connection at all. So, moreover, I speak my mind wherever I want. So, those things actually make a lot of things difficult for you when you want to fight an election. So, even that point of time, even despite having a reservations, I wrote a book on my journey on panchayats. So, no shortcut to leadership. So everybody's seen this. What? Are we living in the Kaligalam? There is a place, constituency, where women can only contest. This is just unbelievable. They actually spoke to me in the same words. And second thing, they told me that I am from a very normal, decent family. So definitely, as a also young girl, just got out of a college. So definitely, politics is not a place for someone like me. So always you get the discouragement from many quarters. Despite having a reservation, despite someone actually willing to fight for what she believes in, even whatever age she is. But I always heard about a lot of negativity around politics, especially if women want to get it. But luckily, my mother is a really great Democrat, though she completely disagree with my decision of getting into politics, but she decided to respect my right as someone who has major, who can think herself, who can think really on her own terms. So she having a lot of apprehension, but despite that, actually, she told me it's end of the day, your life, you have to decide, and also you take the responsibility. This is what she said. But when I got elected, of course, many people who discouraged me came along and supported me and campaigned me, and definitely a big factor behind my win at the very young age. But I was working in the office 10 years, 2 consecutive terms. It's not easy as a woman, as a young girl, to be in the electoral system, to be in a political party, to be in an administrative system. It's very difficult. Whenever you go and ask something, people will see you as a very silly girl. They don't care what kind of serious issue you're coming with. They're feeling that actually you've always been like a one doll because at a young age. And second thing is serious drinking water issue in my village. There is enough drinking water, but people from the Dalit community was not allowed to have access to that water. So that's I thought that my age it's a great injustice into a community. So I want to resolve the issue. That point of time, I thought if I have a power, I can resolve the issue. Then I get into the actually work after I got elected. I realized that's not an easy job. When you fight for a issue, you fight for a right. It's always been seen you have to fight twice. Generally, people see she's a woman. How can she fight for a justice? So people actually gang up against you, not on that issue, but you are being a woman. Then second, you have to fight the issue. So always actually you have to carry this double burden of fighting your gender, fighting for justice. So this has been through even now. So it's not only me. There are many women, probably all the women actually who are into politics, irrespective of their political ideology, is going through the same thing for the ages. But now what I personally feel, things are pretty much improved because many of us are very firm in our beliefs, in our value system, and what we are doing. So we are more courageous, more strong. We never hesitate to put forward our views. We never hesitate to fight for what we believe correct. So in a way, there are many things has been changed over a time. But the challenge also in a different format will continue to haunt us.
Right, ma'am. While talking about your journey, you did talk about this a little, but what are your thoughts on men in politics, creating a positive environment for women in politics? Any instances of allyship that you can recall from your experiences as a politician so far?
See, I will not say all men in politics is bad. All the men actually wanted to prevent you from climbing a ladder or working on some particular issue because generally an electoral politics is completely surrounded by men from booth to top. So when you are fighting an election, it's mostly men who working with you in your campaign, working with you in your work, working with you in the party. So it's not that every man is against you. So how I will see this as someone actually who has experienced the ground politics for the last 3 decades. See, when a woman who's strong, who's very assertive, who's very compassionate and friendly, actually she's trying to do some good work. Actually, men, most of them are trying to help you. But where you have a problem is the ground level, they will ready to work with you. They're ready to listen to you because you're having a much higher position than them. Secondly, they have, as a party worker, as a political worker in the ground, they also wanted to work for their own issues, which is affecting their own village, their own community. So they wanted to walk along with you. Where you have actual troubles comes in, no, the hierarchy has a problem with women in the same hierarchy level. When you going up, then you face more resistance. That's natural in for everyone, not only women, but women it's almost a kind of not double or a dribble. It's 100 times harder task because everyone want to put you down. Secondly, the issue is when you want to fight a battle which is 100 times unreasonably bigger than what it actually could be, you need more strength, more courage, more fighting spirit. So, and also in the top of the pyramid also, you'll find someone like Rahul Gandhi. who really understand, as I said earlier, who really understood the background, political and social background which woman comes from, of course, family background as well. Then what kind of problems they are facing into social life, political life, and how she has to be supported. So there are men like him who has a very perfect understanding of the challenges women in politics, women in public life is facing. So that way you can get a much more better support. For example, Rajiv ji clearly understood what women in politics, political parties going through. That's how he's very much committed, very strongly believe unless until women are not given the reservation in the political system, there is no way for them to have a meaningful participation in the political system. That is why against so much opposition within the Congress party, outside the Congress party, almost entire political parties have opposed the reservation, opposed the Panchayat Raj system. But though we couldn't bring the bill, we brought the bill, but it couldn't pass while Rajiv ji was alive. Unfortunately, we passed the bill with little bit compromise with the few accommodation we had made during the Narasimha Rao ji time. Then we brought the bill and implemented. So unless until you don't have a special system, it's not something I feel that a man or a political system having a reservation, doing some kind of extra help to women. See, we've been suppressed, oppressed for ages, centuries. But what this reservation is giving our own due, which is not done for centuries. So that's what I believe. When I come to men, I don't think you can completely say all the men are really opposing you. You cannot say all the men are supporting to you. It's all about where you are sitting in the political pyramid.
Right. And ma'am, talking about men as allies, what would you like to tell your colleagues in politics about becoming better allies for gender equality in politics? How can they contribute to, say, creating a safer political space for women?
See, first thing, they have to respect women. Second thing, they have to see them as a fellow human being. And we, as a woman, we have a brain. We are working very hard. We are fighting for the same planet, which they are also part of it. Maybe we share the same ideology. We may share the same concern. So we have to learn to work together as an individuals, as a human beings, not as a men and woman. That's what I want to say always. The first look, you look at me as a woman, then you are, I don't blame an individual man for this. The society, a family, our education system, our political system as a whole, put every boy child mind inside that actually we are somewhere superior than women. Women are inferior than us. They are not necessarily have to be treated equal. They are not deserving the same respect as you command. So these are all the things actually been decades, centuries, irrespective of a community, place, political party, being put into the boy child, and they are all growing with the same assumption. This reflects when we are working together. This actually affect the working space very in a very negative way. See, women are no longer what they've been told. Women are very assertive. Women are very educated. Women are very understanding the political system, and we learn to navigate the system against all odds. If necessary, we are fighting and breaking the system and moving on. So you have to accept it. We are not actually like 300 years, 400 years before. We are completely, as a woman, as a race, as a community, as a gender, actually, we have moved forward. You have to move forward along with us. You have no option. That's what we are saying. That's better for both of us.
Yes, ma'am. And as a woman politician, do you feel that your work is recognized the same way as the work that is done by your colleagues who are men?
But first of all, I have a issue to call me someone as a woman politician. I also used to write once upon a time, no longer. Woman writer, a woman collector. So I don't want this preface, because see, when we call a man, we never call you a man politician, male writer, male politician, male collector. We never say that. We see simply collector, politician, MP, writer. This is how we call them. But when it comes to women, we always tend to say woman writer, woman politician, woman MP. We are MPs, we are women, we are politicians with equal right. We do better job than many men do, which I can say without any, which I can say with a lot of humbleness. So, but the question which you are asking is very important, because we've been branded as women politicians. Our work, when you compare to men work, is not recognized at all. Very individual level, as I said, no, like my leader Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi. So, like individual level, many other political parties also, there might be many leaders at top or some other level, many levels. Maybe individual level political leaders are supporting you, understand your struggles, understand your work, and value your work. But it not necessarily as a political party, as a political system. It's actually respect your work, which might be much better than men, but we don't get that respect. We don't get that value. It's very unfortunate. This is what we are all fighting now.
And ma'am, talking about challenges, do you think caste and class impact women's entry into politics and their success differently? And how does this play out in Tamil Nadu?
See, of course, yes. See, India has this unique bad thing called caste. See, gender itself is very problematic. You're being a woman is you're like an outcast only. But among the women, additionally caste comes in. No, you are a Dalit woman, you are a tribal woman, you are a Muslim woman. It's not easy at all to survive in the political system. There are very few women who can see you. You are not only fighting a gender, you are fighting a caste, you are fighting a religious identity. This is very makes woman life in political space difficult. Someone like me, you are a coming from an OBC community, land holding community, have a respect in the village, command respect in the village. We are not deprived in the name of caste. I only deprived name of gender. But someone from the communities which I mentioned, there might be other communities as well. It's very difficult for women from that community fighting a multiple battle, caste, religion, gender, your financial background. It's really very difficult, I can say.
And ma'am, like you rightly mentioned about it being just a politician or just a writer, women around the world have been asked questions about their appearance, their marital status, their domestic responsibilities, and things that focus on being a woman and not on being a politician. So, how do you respond to such criticism and questions?
Ignore and move on.
Yes, that could be the best strategy. Ma'am, as a senior politician, what do you want to change for women in politics regionally and also globally?
See, I have been in many global political platforms, especially women leaders political platforms. What I have seen across the globe is more or less same with a lighter difference. See, when at least we in India and Pakistan, some other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, have at least some level of reservation is there in Panchayat Raj. I think Pakistan Assembly has reservation in Assembly as well. I think Sri Lankan Assembly has another few other countries have reservation. But you go to America, which we think actually it's a very highly democratic country over centuries. When you go there, you meet your counterparts there, then they are thinking we are great because at some level there is a reservation. They don't even have any reservation anywhere. But there also number is not like equal. Very one or two countries' number is pretty much equal or 5 or 10% lesser than men. But 98% of the countries, the men and women equation in politics is completely undermined. 8%, 10%, 13%, 12%, 14%. This is what we are all having. In such a scenario, I personally feel someone like me, though I don't want to call myself or my colleagues as a woman politician, our job is to build a path where next generation of women can walk less complications. I will not say there won't be no complications, but less complications, because the path which today someone like me and my colleagues across the globe is walking is laid by somebody else before many centuries. Maybe the woman who fought for their franchise, maybe the woman who fought for the equal wages, maybe the woman who fought for the rights, maybe the woman who fought for their labor rights, maybe the woman like Muthulakshmi Reddy who fought for the higher education, maybe the woman who walked out of their house to have an education, maybe someone like Jyotibai Phule who created a school for girls. So this is the path laid down for us, the woman who really, really struggled more than us before centuries. So our job is to continue that work so that next generation of women can walk, and they will create a better atmosphere for the women who come after them.
So talking about these struggles, these challenges, and the vision that you have in your career so far, what are those things that you are very proud of and why?
My journey from a small village, non-political family, not a very humble agricultural family, from a panchayat to parliament, against all odds, without compromising my values and what I believe, is something I'm always proud of. I see this is not my personal journey alone. This is the journey of any woman who aspired to run an office, who aspired to be part of a big political system, who really believes, irrespective of their background, gender, community, can find their own way. So I personally feel I become that person. So many people, many women will follow the journey. That's what I'm always proud of. Secondly, I think the work I have done to the society throughout my 3-decade career is something I always proud of. I always prioritize people in a very vulnerable community, education, health, women empowerment. These are all children. These are all my priority areas always. That's where actually we as a woman will think definitely different from my male counterparts, because mostly they are focused on infrastructural project, big buildings, big things. But we as a woman always focus on things which can change the society as a whole.
Ma'am, talking about young women who are navigating similar challenges in their political careers, what is the advice that you would like to give them?
See, I don't believe in advice and all, because end of the day, everybody's journey is different from you. They have find their own way, but as a little bit of experience sharing, I can say keep fighting. Your door will open. Otherwise, we will smash it.
In fact, ma'am, when you said that you don't believe in advice, I was going to ask you that what is the kind of support that you would like to offer to these young women? And you already said it, you will help them smash these doors. So I think that is an amazing support that you could extend. Ma'am, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
See, in my view, we work as a woman inside our political parties. But what I personally believe, beyond our political parties, beyond our nation's boundaries, we have to raise as a woman and work together and share our experience, support each other, and build a future path for the people, young people who are going to come after us. That's what I personally believe.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us on Worth Asking and sharing your insights from such a lovely career that you have had. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for joining us on Worth Asking.
We express our gratitude to 81 donors who made this year's podcast possible. To learn more about our work and how you can support us, please join our community by visiting www.cgapsouthasia.org/join. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a review and share with your peers, especially young women interested in joining politics. Thank you and stay tuned.